Hey everybody, meteorologist Jim Rinaldi here. I want to take a look at this strong wind event that's going to be occurring later tomorrow into tomorrow evening, as we have a cold front coming through the region. Here's our 500 millibar map with the wind field included, and you can see we have a very strong trough coming in with a lot of wind energy out ahead of it. This is at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. This is 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. You can see this is really strengthening tight closed circulation with a lot of wind energy ahead of it, and that's going to create a very rapidly developing low pressure system moves from the Midwest into the Great Lakes and drags a cold front across the Mid-Atlantic and Appalachians and through the Northeast. So here we are here. This is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We're at 1,004 millibars. We'll go out here to 2 p.m. We're already down to 997. And then we go out to 36 hours, 8 p.m. tomorrow evening, 993. By the time we get to 2 a.m. on Friday, we're at 987 millibars. And you can see we're developing a very strong pressure gradient, both out ahead of this, and also behind it. And we're also developing a pretty good squall line here along this cold front that's going to be pushing through. So we have a lot of potential for wind. And what we're going to see happening is we're going to see, I think we're going to see a lot of lightning and thunder and high top storms or anything of that nature. I think this is going to be a case where we have a very strong low level jets, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. And also we have a setup that is known as a low cape high shear potential, and it's exactly what it sounds like. We don't have much in the way of instability, but we have very high shear, and we have a lot of moisture out ahead of it due to a flow, first a marine flow that we've had across the region the past couple of days with that east to southeast wind. There's been a lot of low clouds and drizzle. So we had a marine air mass in place. Now we're bringing some more moisture up from the Gulf of Mexico on this strong southerly flow, and we're slamming this strong cold front into it. So those are the ingredients that we usually look for one of these low cape high shear events. Now these are more typical in the southeast. It's not the common occurrence in the northeast, but this setup is one that is conducive to that type of event. And I'll show you how that looks on the soundings as we go forward here. But like I said here, 987 here by the time we get to 2 a.m. on Friday. So that's a very rapidly developing storm system. So okay, so here we'll start with the soundings here. Now I'm using the Harrisburg sounding here just as an example. And first of all, for tomorrow morning, we can see we have an inversion here. That's where the temperatures are warmer aloft as you go up from the surface than they are at the surface. Now, typically, the general rule of thumb is that if there's an inversion and a lot of clouds and whatever, drizzle or whatever in the morning, you're not going to see severe weather in the afternoon, unless there is a strong lifting mechanism, like a strong front, a strong vortex, something of that nature coming through. And that obviously is the case here. Now, what I want everybody to notice here is, well, first of all, here this is not the time frame we'd be expecting any type of weather anyway. But look here, we're already starting off here. There's no cape. There is no instability at all in the lower levels. But here we can already see the shear is over 50 knots. So now setting the table for this setup here. Now we'll go ahead here to 2 p.m. tomorrow, and first of all, look what happens. The inversion is gone. There's no more inversion, right? There's the inversion there, and that goes away. So now we're already starting. We've already lost the inversion. We can see here we have the southeast winds at the surface, indicating still getting some marine influence in the lower levels. But look, as you go very close to the surface here, we're already seeing 50-plus knot winds aloft. Now, there isn't much. This is not too much. There's really no instability yet here, so there's really not much that's going to transport anything down at this point. But now we're going to go out to. Oh, I thought I had one more for you here. Maybe I do. Going ahead. But that's what I wanted to show you here. This is the wind field for tomorrow at noon. And you can see already, this is 850 millibars. We're already at this point way ahead of the front, which is still back here. We're already seeing, here's our scale down here, some 50-plus knot winds showing up, heading in through Pennsylvania. And, of course, up here we have some strong winds as well. So we'll go ahead here. Yeah, here's the other sounding that I wanted to show you. Now we see not only is the inversion gone, now we have some instability that's built. It's low. It's not much. It's below 500 joules per kilogram. But like I said, it's called a low Cape high shear severe weather event. And look at our shears now. Now they're near 70. Okay, so that is a classic low Cape high shear. We have still our southeast wind at the surface, our very strong jet aloft. And now we have the ability to transport it down to the surface. So what's going to happen is, as that squall line comes through, we're going to see these winds, the momentum of these winds will be transferred to the surface in heavier bursts of rain. So we might have severe wind gusts, maybe even a tornado in some places with this turning of the wind. And here we can see the turning on the photograph here. Without any thunder and lightning. So you may not hear any lightning, you see any lightning, you may not hear any thunder, and you still could potentially see a tornado. That is very common in these low Cape high shear situations. So that's something to be alert for. Again, these are not typical for the Northeast, so they're very difficult to predict in this part of the country. They're much more common in the Southeast. But they do occur here, and this is a setup that I think we could see it. Here now we're really starting to see the winds pick up. You can see here, this is at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Now we're starting to see some 60 to 70 knot gusts showing up in pockets at 850 millibars. Even 900 millibars, we're seeing winds of 50 to 60. Even some 60 to 70 showing up here in the northern Virginia, western Maryland area. So the very strong winds are very close to the surface, and it's not going to take much to transport them down. Like I said, this is not a classic severe thunderstorm type of setup. It's more of a synoptic setup, but the potential is there, and 60-mile-per-hour winds are 60-mile-per-hour winds, whether it's from a heavy rain downburst or a severe thunderstorm. So I can't really argue too much with what SPC put out. I thought enhanced was a little bit much, but the potential is there for some very strong winds because they're very close to the surface. So that's what I wanted to show you with this. We'll see how this unfolds. If the inversion is stronger, then the potential will be diminished. Although, like I said, the front itself is very dynamic and may be strong enough to bust through any inversion that does form. So, but right now I'm thinking the inversion does break, and we do see the potential for some very strong winds. Now, it's going to be a short duration for the strongest winds, but it's going to be as that squall line comes through over a course of about maybe an hour and a half. But during that time frame, we could be looking at 60-plus mile-per-hour winds across a good portion of this region here. So something to be alert for tomorrow. Meteorologist Jim Rinaldi. Hope you all have a great day.